Welcome, everybody, to the Dawson Show. I'm excited to talk to you today about some conversations I've been having relative to the art of manifestation. How do you manifest those things that are elements of your life that you would like to accomplish or succeed at or draw into you as you think for 2020 and beyond, achieving your personal, professional, and financial goals? I did a podcast on intentionality, and I think it's a good segue into manifestation because you can't manifest what you want to have in your life if you're not intentional about what that picture, law of picture, a John Maxwell law, if you're not intentional about what that picture looks like, you cannot manifest it. So intentionality has to be a way of life, a specific requirement in order to manifest. Otherwise, you drift. Drifting is well articulated in Sharon Lecter's authorship of Napoleon Hill's personal memoir called Outwitting the Devil. And in that book, it talks about what happens when you drift. So if you go through life being pulled by other people's objectives, other people's agendas, being a victim, not being intentional, then that is drifting mode. Doing things that other people tell you you need to do, which is why I created the 4preneurs, so that you could understand how to be intentional as an intrapreneur, solopreneur, entrepreneur, or investorpreneur. And to be in one of those 4preneur categories, or all of them, you have to be highly intentional and engaged. Now, how do you manifest? Well, let's say you want to achieve a certain result in a certain period of time. You have to know specifically what that looks like, what that law of picture is. You have to understand. You have to visualize it. You have to feel it. You have to breathe it. You have to see yourself in it. Why? Because you're in control of programming your mind into the picture that you want to draw to, so that you can start finding the indications today and start doing things intentionally to learn and develop your personal skill set, that stepping stone by stepping stone, incrementally, granularly moving to that picture over time. You have to be in charge of your mindset. Your words follow your thoughts. Your actions follow your thoughts and your words. So what you're thinking about, what you're doing, what you're talking about is the formula for manifestation. So if you're struggling, it's because you're drifting. You're being pulled by other people's agendas. You're being distracted by chasing things that are not moving you to your bigger goals, your bigger objectives. You're being manipulated. You're being influenced. You're allowing yourself to go to drifting and being ping-ponged around into categories and places in your life that are not intentionally moving you to your big picture. You see, all of our decision making, all of our actions today are based on our reference points of how we grew up and what we saw and what we heard and what people have told us. If you aren't on a trajectory to accomplish your personal, professional, and financial goals, it's because you're not thinking, you're not saturating your mind with elements that will help you through intentionality move to the picture that you want to have. So you're painting this murky picture in your mind that's got so many influences, so many things that you've learned and developed, wrongfully so, that's caused this mindset, which is probably a broken mindset if you're not, well, it's intentionally a broken mindset if you're not accomplishing accomplishing your goals. Because if it was intentionally a correct mindset, a mindset of abundance, a mindset of accomplishment, then your mindset would be owned by your individual choices of what you're ingesting, what you're looking at, what you're reading, what you're spending your time thinking about, what you're spending your time doing, how intentional you are about the people you're surrounding yourself with and what you're learning from them, what you're applying from them, what kind of massive action, Grant Cardone to next rule, how are you applying these things? Because you see that the incremental slight improvements in doing or following that massive mindset of change, which then when it occurs, you've manifested something in your life. And then everyone else around you can tell you you're lucky or that it just worked out or that you were just so fortunate, when reality is you created that through directing your thinking, directing your actions, controlling your mindset, ingesting things that are only relative to the thing that you want to accomplish. Now, here's the thing, because I talked and met with a business owner for 2 hours yesterday, and I proposed to him, here is exactly the steps you can follow to get the very thing you've said you've been chasing your whole life and have yet been able to accomplish. And the business owner said this is everything that they've dreamed of understanding. And it resonated in detail with the absolute struggles of what they've not been able to accomplish. Like, resonated so clearly, so concisely. And then the final moment of true conviction, true commitment was presented. I said, are you willing to alter your schedule and spend $29,995 to come the first week in January to lay the foundation so 2020 can be the year that changes the directionality, the impact, the opportunity of a lifetime based on what you've heard over this 2 hours? He paused. He looked me in the eyes and he said, I'll need to think about it. Now, let me ask you a simple question. What is there to think about? Let's break this down. I'll tell you what there is to think about. When I asked to explain that comment, he said, well, you see, I've paid consultants $100,000, $200,000 a year, and what they delivered to me did not bring value to me, and I don't want to make the same bad decision. So that led me to a question of him. Who are you going to trust this time around to make the right decision? He said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, think about it. Who is your inner circle? Who are you going to talk to that's going to help you decide if that's a good decision or poor decision? He said, well, myself, I want to think about it. I said, you mean the same person that thought about the last 2 previous bad decisions is the person you're going to rely on to make the next decision that you just sat here for 2 hours saying you've never heard this more clearly. You've never understood what you need more specifically. You've never had it shown to you so impactfully that you were blown away, and yet you want to go home and you want to think amongst yourself so that you can rely on the same person that made 2 previous bad decisions in bringing people in and did not deliver value to you. And you're going to trust you, the person who you're really mad at for paying that money, not setting proper expectations, not having an intentional outcome, not participating on the front end to understand clearly and concisely what they were supposed to deliver to you. You're going to rely, just so I understand, on that same person that screwed up the previous 2 deals, which is yourself. Now, obviously, there was a long pause and a blank look in his face. And this is the moment of the hard questions. Grant Cardone talks about asking the hard questions. You see, I said to him, look, I don't care if you come or not. I just spent 2 hours of my time trying to help you understand and frame what you would like to manifest in your life. You had clarity, you had understanding, you had awareness. We related to every single mistake that you've dealt with, every single trial and tribulation and pain point you have today. And you concluded this was the most concise, precise conversation you've ever had. And yet the reality is you do not trust yourself enough to make a good decision because you, my friend, have made so many poor decisions. Now, the reason I bring this up is this is the trap you all find yourself in. The people that break through the next level recognize they made a bad choice in the past. People who break through the next level understand through diagnosis and breaking down how they made their bad choice and what they're looking for from an information source or from an influence source so they can make a better choice the next time around. And if you've not done that work, then you're going to continue to make bad choices because the one thing you can control in every single moment, every single situation, every single circumstance, and the only thing you can control is what you're thinking about, where you're wanting to go, the information filtered through what you're wanting to accomplish, what your big objective is, what your trials and tribulations and mistakes have been, and how you're going to make sure you never repeat those, and what you're going to go do different, and how you're going to do it different. And the quality of the questions you ask will always determine the quality of your outcomes. The better questions you ask, the better results you'll get. So instead of being victimized by poor decision making and deferring and deflecting and abdicating to third parties because you wrote a check, what did you learn from that? What will you not repeat again? How would you do it different? God willing to give you the gift of continuing to produce so that you have the freedom to invest in yourself and your directionality and your intentionality and your goals and your manifestation. You see, when you make bad choices and you surround yourself with the wrong people and you don't follow a great process and you aren't educated in the process of what you want to have as the outcome, and you blame other people, then you lower your own confidence in you making decisions that are the best decisions for you, your family, your goals, and the people who trust and follow you. So therefore, when you hesitate in making a decision to move forward, you're either hesitating because you don't trust the person you're engaging, or you don't have the confidence in your decision-making ability. And anybody who owns a business who can't make decisions, it's because they have broken their ability to make good, wise, impactful choices, and therefore they become indecisive. And that, my friends, is why people struggle, is because they lose their internal strength and fortitude to create because they've made bad choices in the past. Now, why is this important? It's important and it ties into intentionality because we're going to title this podcast, The Art of Sprinkling. What is the art of sprinkling? I'm going to tip you off to my little secret. You see, when you make choices, those choices create a framework of which you justify and defend your belief. Bad choices create broken beliefs. Great choices create a strength in your belief. If you don't diagnose the reasons things did not work out in the past and put a plan together to ensure those things don't happen again, you will lose your own confidence to make great choices because you, my friends, are solely responsible for your bad choices. Nothing happens to you. They happen because of you. Your bad experiences are a reverberation back to you of bad choices, bad actions, bad decisions, no decisions, and now you're paralyzed with how to make a great choice. Well, here's the secret. The art of sprinkling is this. The universe, and I use that word in context of anything and everything that's beyond you that could support, could amplify, could magnify, could draw to you any element that will help you accelerate your manifestation, your goal, your goals, the thing that you dream about, the things that you dream about. The universe can only bring those things to you to the extent you understand what that destination looks like. To the extent you're diagnosing every day, are you moving towards that or away from it? Are you surrounding yourself with the right kind of literature? Are you listening to the right kind of words from the right kind of people? Are you following the path of successful people who have accomplished each iteration of what you want to accomplish? Are you doing the things that they did? Are you doing the things that you need to do? Are you training yourself? Are you conditioning yourself? Are you preparing yourself? Are you acting with massive action to learn how to move yourself and the things around you to propel you to that objective? If you're thinking that way, and you're writing those goals down, and you're surrounding yourself and putting yourself in play with the influences that can help shape and form your thinking, so your doing follows your thinking and your words follow your thinking. And now all of a sudden, you've got this mental image, this picture. You've thought about it for so long. You can feel it. You can taste it. You can see yourself walking on the jet. You can see yourself writing a contract for $100 million. You can see yourself ringing the opening bell of the American Stock Exchange. You can see yourself presenting to a room of people who have the potential to give you $100 million or $50 million or $20 million to take you to that place where you can build your company or you can build your dream. You see hundreds of employees sitting in the room hanging on every word because you're creating a system that allows them to pursue their personal, professional, financial goals. You can feel the energy with 10,000 people or 35,000 people in the stadium that have come to hear you, and yet you're all by yourself in your little office with your headsets on, listening to some kind of music, and you're feeling this. Then the art of sprinkling comes in right after that. And the art of sprinkling is sprinkling around the messages. Here's who I am. Here's who I'm developing myself to be. Here's how I'm doing it. Here's what my big goals are. Here's what my strategy is. Here's the type of people I'm looking to meet. Here's the kind of things I'm looking to learn. Here's the kind of elements I'm looking to bring into my life. Here's the kind of improvements I'm searching for. Here's the kind of things that I'm sprinkling around everyone I know. I'm throwing salt, a sprinkling of ideas and concepts and dreams and goals. And then while everyone else is telling you why you can't accomplish those things, those are the very people on your ledger you need to stop sprinkling to and on. You see, in my next episode, I'm going to talk about building confidence. In this episode, I'm trying to paint for you a picture because people have asked me over and over and over, how do you manifest? How do you create? How do you bring a dream to life? It starts with first understanding what that picture looks like. Then it goes to the actions of today. How are you visualizing yourself in that moment, in that environment, actually accomplishing that? What does it look like? How does it feel? How well do you see? How specific do you see yourself in that moment? And then it comes back to today when you come out of that visualization, when you come out of that just this feeling of I've accomplished it, now you're in reality. You have to take that emotion, you got to take that logic, you got to take that energy, that feeling, and you need to take your journal and you need to write down exactly what you saw, exactly what you experienced, exactly what you were saying, exactly what you were doing. Those become your big picture manifestation goals. Then you need to write down what you're doing today, Who are you studying? Who are you learning from? Who are you attracting into your life? How are you attracting them? Because it's the granular, incremental improvements of your language, of your thinking, of your doing, of who you're surrounding yourself with. Who are you being influenced by? What influences are helping you fill those answers and those gaps from where you're at to where you want to be? Because that is in itself the magic you see. The reason you have not done those things is you're not surrounding yourself with the right people. You don't have the right reference points. You haven't been raised by people who are pushing you to do that. You don't have the visual examples. You don't have the mental examples. You don't have the passive examples. You're not intentionally surrounding yourself with that element. So you need to make a critical choice for yourself. Do you want the very picture you're painting in your mind to the extent you can smell it, you can taste it, you can see it, you can feel the experience of it? Do you want that bad enough that you're willing to sacrifice the very things that are holding you back from that today? Law of sacrifice, another John Maxwell law. You cannot bring something new in until you give something up. And that in itself is what's holding you back from making the best choices of your life to pursue what's important to you. You're afraid. It's fear that holds you back. Well, let me give you this message. There are so many examples. I'm an example. Grant's an example. Warren Buffett's an example. How big do you want to dream? How far do you want to take it? It is untrue that nothing is available to you. Everything's available to you. Should you decide to know exactly what that picture looks like, and should you be willing to sacrifice the very things holding you back because you want it that bad, and for that, you cannot blame anybody else if you choose not to go after your personal, your professional, your financial goals, to develop yourself so you can create the impact for you and those that trust and follow you, so you can achieve the very thing that you're dreaming about in the future because you chose to make it happen today in the present. Thank you for joining me on the B. Dawson Show. The art of sprinkling.